Hi everyone, welcome. So today we're going to be learning how to install fonts. I think this is a really good thing to know as we create things for our students. We create presentations and handouts and flyers, even newsletters maybe to send to build community, and using a specific font can really get across a certain theme, or it can help you just in general make whatever you're creating look more professional or more visually appealing. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing you need to do is simply find the fonts that you want to download. There are two websites that I use most often. 1001 Free Fonts is the first. You can search by category or alphabetically if you know the font's name. The one that we're going to download from this site is called Magnolia Sky. So when I click on this font, I'm going to be able to see designer's note. I'm going to be able to see a character map just so it shows me how each letter looks within the font. Can also see what files I'll be downloading, and then I also know, this is very important, what the licensing is. So this says free for personal use. It means that we would be able to use it without a license for any of the things that I mentioned before, for flyers or presentations or things like that. If you had desires to use the font commercially, you would need to look at the licensing rules for this specific font and may even need to purchase a commercial license. But for now, just to use it in a PowerPoint presentation, we are going to click download. It's going to come up with a file here. If you notice, it says that it's a zip file. In order to actually install the font on our computer, we do need to extract those files. We're going to extract them all, and then it'll come up with this box that says files will be extracted to this folder. Well, I don't want them to go there. I like to keep all my fonts in the same place, so I've created a fonts folder. I'm going to select that folder, so now I know that it's going to my documents in my fonts folder, and I'll extract the files there. So that's where we are. We're going to close these out because I am going to download one more font. This is another website I like to use called defont.com. Now for this one, I'm looking for a font that's more of a subtitle font. Still stands out, but isn't maybe as artistic as the last font we downloaded. So I'm going to do this one, Bebas New. I'm just going to click download. Again, it's a zip file, so we do need to extract the files. We'll change the folder again to fonts and extract it. So now all my fonts, Bebas New and Magnolia Sky, are in this folder. I'm going to leave this open because now all you have to do is open your computer's control panel. Once you get there, it's very easy. Just search the control panel for fonts. And we want to preview, delete, or show and hide fonts. So we'll click here. All these are the font files we've got. So you want to use the open type font file. That's what we need. So I'm going to select everything that I want to install and click and drag where it'll tell me that I can copy it into my font. So that's an install prompt that we can't see because of this, but we just saw this one pop up in our fonts, and then Magnolia Sky should also be down here. It's in alphabetical order. So there it is, Magnolia Sky. So that means now that they are installed on our computer that we'll be able to use them in documents and things. Okay, so now that our new fonts are installed in our computer, we are going to use them in a PowerPoint presentation that we want to make more visually appealing. So with a title, you want to use the more maybe artistic font. The subtitle is where we'll use this still professional looking but just a little more subtle font. And then for content, I'm going to leave it that. You know, you want to make sure, especially with content, if there's a lot of it, that it's a very readable font. This font is good for content, you know, as well as a title. It just depends on what look you're going for. Obviously, this font, Magnolia Sky, is not necessarily a professional looking font, but if you're looking for visual appeal, that definitely looks more visually appealing than what we had before. Also, you do not want to overwhelm a presentation with, I would say, more than 3 fonts. If you do that, it just doesn't look as thematic or intentional. It just looks like you couldn't make up your mind with what font you wanted. So once you choose your 3 main fonts, you just want to make sure that you stick with those. So we would continue to use Magnolia Sky for titles, Baby Snoo for subtitles, and then Calibri for the body. Now, the very last thing that I want to show you is how to keep those fonts a part of your document if you are sending it somewhere else. So when you go to save your presentation file, go to Save As. I'm just going to do it in our Documents file today. So I'm going to save it as Test. But if I just saved it now and sent it to someone else and they didn't have the fonts that I have downloaded installed on their computer, it wouldn't show up. You can also, in order to maintain the font's integrity, you can save it as a PDF. But if I want to still keep it as a PowerPoint and I want the fonts to go with it, I just go to Tools and I click here with Save Options, and I can just click simply this box that says Embed Fonts to File. Other people who open the document can view and use the fonts even if the fonts are not installed on their computer. So that's exactly what we want. We'll click OK. We click Save. So sometimes this happens where the font cannot be saved with a presentation. So when that happens, you probably want to go back and consider changing your font to something that will save with the file. Doesn't necessarily have to be one you downloaded. This one looks somewhat similar. But when you can't embed the font, you just want to make sure that you change it before you send it off. Again, if you don't want to change your font, you can always save the file as a PDF. And here you can see we have saved our document as a PDF file, and the font that would not embed itself within the document is still viewable in this format. So that is all I have for you. Thank you so much. I hope it was helpful. I hope you have a really great day. And again, thank you so much. Bye.